And here, ladies and gentlemen, is Russ Dowd.
Thank you, Raleigh. The field is picture perfect as they prepare to address themselves to the start-finish line. Here they come. The throttles are down, the green flags are out, and it is Ed Lemke Jr. leading the charge into turn number 1. That charge is short-lived as all of a sudden Steve Park is right there with car number 1. Steve, who set a great time trial earlier, now sets the pace into turn 3. The first circuit of this, the Connecticut Classic 150, goes into the record books with Steve Park listed as the leader. Lemke runs second, and Jeff Fuller, the reigning modified champion, pulls down the third spot. The field begins to get strung out just a little bit. Single file for the top 15, 18 cars as they once again cross back across the start-finish line with car number 1 setting the pace. That is Steve Park. His only win on the modified tour coming at the Winston 300 2 years ago. He would like to make this one very, very special for himself tonight, like claiming a victory in the Connecticut Classic.
The Reg moves up 1 notch, takes over 5th place from Jan Leedy. And on caution.
We have a spin over turn number 2. That has run out the first caution of the event with only 3 laps up on the scoreboard. And we also have problems with the Tim Airy car number 56. You can see a lot of sparks coming out from under the left front.
Is a problem or not, he's pulling down to the lower 8. Now he drops back into his position in the field. So apparently everything's okay with the 44. Now the word. All right, we are ready. Field is ready. Can Park maintain his edge over Lemke on this restart? Here they come.
Pace car is back in. Green flag out one more time. And Steve Park again jumps to the front. Lemke tries to hold off Jeff Fuller, and he does exactly that as they head back for turn number 1. Mike Iwanitzko looks to the outside of Fuller as they head down the back straightaway to sort this one out one more time. Iwanitzko on the high side. Fuller down low with car number 8. They're back off of turn 4. Jeff Fuller down in that low groove. Fuller now challenges Lemke for the second spot off the second turn. Heading back to turn 3. Lemke is able to close the door. Ed Lemke Jr. runs in second behind Steve Park. And it is Jeff Fuller, Mike Iwanitzko, Reggie Ruggiero, car number 69, and the 27th car. That's the 27 of Jan Leedy out of Williamson, New York. Jan Leedy, the man, is in second fast time. Back down across the stripe as Steve Park now begins to open it up a little bit. Fuller with his hands full with Lemke Jr. Fuller looks to make a run down low. Lemke is able to hold him off with a lot of power underneath the hood of the Hummel Brothers car number 11. While all this dicing for position is going on, Steve Park is in very good stead as he has about the 10-car length advantage over the remainder of the field. First 10 circuits, Raleigh, of this one are up on the scoreboard, and Steve Park has led each and every one of them.
Back in the pack, George Brunholzl moving up a couple of notches in car 28. Still has a long way to go.
Not making a great march to the front. Fuller again tests the waters underneath Lemke. Looks for that running room, but Lemke has a car that really sticks in that second lane. Bruce D'Alessandro with a great run tonight from Ben Dodge in car number 39. Once again, the challenge for second comes off the second turn. But as they head back to 3, Lemke is able to close the door. There's a carbon copy of about the last 5 laps in a row.
Wayne Anderson challenging Charlie Sastriak back in the pack. And out of turn 2, a good battle as Jeff Fuller takes the number 2 spot from Lemke.
So Fuller is on a march. He has now picked up that second spot. That's in nice the rear bumper of Steve Park. And the modified feature rolls along. 14 laps up on the scoreboard. Winston Modified Tour, the Connecticut Classic 150. It shapes up this way as we put 15 on the board. This time by Steve Park, Jeff Fuller, Ed Lemke Jr. Fuller has managed to run down our leader and is within striking distance of Steve Clark in car number 1. They cross the stripe one more time. 20 laps now on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Lead position has not changed, but it's been a wholesale swap of positions from 2 on back. Mike Stefanik on the high side of Ed Lemke as they exit turn 2. Stefanik looking for the high road around Eddie. Everyone else has chosen the inside group.
And Stefanik completes the move and takes over that position. Now, Jeff Fuller closing in on our leader from the start. Steve Park. Solid from the start, now feeling his first pressure of the event.
If needed to hang on, the first 20 laps will be a cakewalk compared to the next 100 meters also. Slowly but surely picking their way through traffic, heading to the front. Great time trial from Wayne Anderson tonight as well. But Anderson is at this stage of the race considerably off the pace. Back to turn 3, we find our leaders. On a quarter of a straightaway advantage between Steve Park and Jeff Fuller. And in the third place car, Reggie Ruggiero.
Bruce D'Alessandro having a bit of a problem dropping back now as Doug Everett will challenge him for that 9th spot.
Passing action in right alongside Mike Uinitsko in turn 3. And as they exit 4 down to the line, Stefanik now grabs the spot and the 27. And leading the 75. Carl Pastriak continues their battle for yet another position. So 3 of the heaviest hitters of the tour are now lined up in position. With the young Lion Steve Park sitting the pace over veteran and defending champ Jeff Fuller. The 69 of Reggie Ruggiero, 2-time champion Mike Stefanik. Laps continue to tick away. Pretty much single file in front of Rick Ford as I'm trying to get back towards the end of this class with car number 77. The Polar Beverages RC Cola sponsor machine. Trouble over in turn number 2. We've got them stacked up in a cloud of dust. From our vantage point, at least until the dust settles, we really cannot even tell you which cars are involved. Tony Sutton may be able to see those cars from his vantage point. It looks like the 28 of George Brunhosel is one of them.
Yes, that's correct. Anderson was in the back. The number 25, the number 3 cars are also involved.
The 3 car, you say, of Doug Hebron?
The track worker standing right in front of the numbers.
So it could very well be that it is the Doug Hebron car. And the George Brunhosel car number 28. That we can confirm the Brunhosel car, and you can see track through.
Pace car leads our front runners through that mess.
Well, George has been able to refire the 28s. Little Carrier Corporation machine. Will rejoin the field at the tail end, and
He appears to be okay, but he went into the wall really hard. The entire right side of the car is all crunched in. They're taking a look at him right now, but he nodded that he was okay.
well, that is very good news that Doug Hebron is okay in car number 3. The Len Bowler Beach Bluff Auto Mike Barnard Chevrolet sponsored race car. Look out
now. All right, now we are ready for the resuming of this one. 35 laps are complete. Your leader, Steve Park, alongside Jeff Fuller for the restart. And here's Russ.
Billy Leda stares the field down. Here they come as the green flag goes out, and Steve Park has the advantage. Jeff Fuller goes down low underneath the left car of Wayne Anderson. They sort this one out very, very quickly, and as they head down the back straightaway, here's how it shapes up. It is Steve Park now, continuing to set the pace. Jeff Fuller runs in the second spot. Mike Stefanik, all the way up to third, or the red is back and forth. Stefanik now underneath Fuller, can't make the move, almost sends the car on its nose, settles back in, and suddenly finds Reggie Ruggiero, knocked right there on the rear bumper. Jan Leedy, car number 27, runs next on the grid. And then it is Mike Uinitsko in the 7th. We've got a spin down into the infield. We've got 3 cars involved in a mishap up in turn number 4. And Bob Park in the 19 went around.
Tommy Creveno is all right in the 37. Russ France pulls away. Dan Meservey Jr. also pulling out of that mess. George Brunholzl was involved in that one also. Here comes Bobby G across the line. Fuller, correction, Ed Flemke in the 11, also out. All right, here we go. Flemke picks up at the rear, and we're just about ready to resume. Here we go. In goes the pace car. The pace quickens, and here we go. And Park gets the jump on Fuller again. Heading for the line, it's Park. Now Fuller stealing from the finish. Into turn 1. Look out. Jan Leedy down low. Tom Baldwin right behind him trying to move up. Hung out to dry is Mike Iwanitsko, and Baldwin moves up a spot. Tommy Baldwin, one of the most exciting drivers on the Tour to watch. And car number 7 running to perfection tonight. Finds itself now in the 6th position. So it is Steve Park coming around to complete lap number 44. Jeff Fuller, Mike Stefanik, the red. Jan Leedy, Tom Baldwin, and the 77 of Rick Fuller. That's your lucky 7. Feel really starting to spring out once again. As we now have 45 laps complete. 45 laps. Patrick actively coming the car also marching forward. Car number 75. Keep in mind that Wayne Anderson and George Brunholzl are down at least 1 lap to the leader. And we'll have to check, but we're not sure. They may apply to Wayne Anderson. Jeff Fuller overtaken now. Mike Stefanik and the Reg past Jeff Fuller. Fuller drops back 2 spots in front of Jan Leedy. And it's shaping up to be another classic battle here at Stafford. Steve Park doing a tremendous job with car number 1. Mike Stefanik, the man who set fast time, is there knocking at the door, and it is the red. The man who has probably won more races on this racetrack than anyone else in the field. Here's Stefanik. Quick peek to the low side. It makes the move and tuck back in as the 12 car of Meservey limps down the back straightaway. Park now getting a little bit loose that time off of turn 4. And Mike Stefanik is right there applying every bit of pressure he can. He's on the inside looking to challenge Park for the lead. Into turn 3 they go. Stefanik puts the throttle down. The Reg is right there and follows him through. And suddenly, after 50 laps of leading, Steve Park now finds himself back in 3rd. Jeff Fuller holds the 4th spot, and then it's Jan Leedy and Tom Baldwin. Here they come off turn 4, starting to spring out once again. In the pack, Carl Pastriak challenging Tony Ferrari. Car number 8. Then it is Jan Leedy, Tom Baldwin, Rick Fuller, Mike Iwanitsko, running in that order. again, the Reg closes in on Stefanik. As the top two now start to separate themselves from the rest of the field.
Running pretty much single file. Yellow flag is out. We've got a spin over in turn 2. It appears to be Chris Amons' car 74.
He's had all kinds of mechanical problems tonight, having made several pit stops. Didn't appear he made contact with the wall. I think he was all right, so hopefully he'll be able to pick right up and resume.
All right, a lot has happened in the infield and on pit road. And Tony, what have you got for us? They're all back out. Get the lights repaired. And it was almost as if the waving of, aha, that didn't take long. It was almost as if the waving of the yellow flag dimmed the lights.
Chris is ready to fire the car up and go back out.
Unbelievable, they've done that already. Thanks, Tony, and we are set to go back to green. Pace car is in. Your leader, car number 44. Green flag is out, and Mike Stefanik once again jumps on the throttle, and he will lead the Reg across the line. Stefanik and Ruggiero into turn 1. Reggie does not give up 1 square inch of real estate. He hangs tough on the high side. Reggie by a foot into turn 3. Stefanik comes back on the inside groove. Side by side, elbow to elbow, off of turn 4, down across the stripe. It is a drag race back to turn 1. The advantage this time goes to Stefanik. And Reggie immediately comes right back to the inside, but Michael is able to close the door. Unbelievable, Rob.
Great action. Reg tried to snooker Stefanik. Stefanik held him off. With the 77 of Rick Fuller, here comes Fuller on the outside now.
Rick Fuller, who has really been playing it nice, easy, and cautious this entire race. Dudley puts the Fuller Beverages RC Cola car 77 into the 4th position. So it shapes up this way. It is Mike Stefanik setting the pace. Reggie now dives to the inside. As they cross the line, Stefanik has the spot. Reggie has to back out of it. He runs 2nd. Jan Leedy is in 3rd. Rick Fuller is in 4th. Look at the battle for 5th.
All right, here they come, and Mikey Winitsko breaks out of that pack. And Nino Winitsko has 5th place.
Ooh, Reggie bobbles going into turn number 1. And he has the door slammed. Unbelievable battle. 2 of the best. Mike Stefanik, Reggie Ruggiero. Bumper to bumper down the front straightaway one more time. Reggie doing his darndest to get by the car he used to drive. He looks to the outside now. Tries to take Mike a little bit high. Mike brings him right to the top of the racetrack. Reggie goes in high, but Mike does not fall for it. Keeps the car in the low lane.
Tom Baldwin now has broken out of the pack and has worked his way right up to the back bumper of Mikey Winitsko, running 6th at the moment.
Reggie's literally manhandling that race car, trying everything in the book to get by Mike Stefanik.
Tim Connolly now takes over 7th place from Steve Park. Does it very easily. A little scrambling on the backstretch.
Carl Pastriak got out of shape coming off the 2. Lifted, and when he did, it kind of provided a quick backup for several of the competitors. Everybody made it through okay. But all eyes continue to be on about 3 different spots. Reggie Ruggiero and Tom Baldwin, both putting up terrific battles here tonight. As Stefanik and Ruggiero battle it out for the lead. Baldwin and Iwanitsko have really been going. And then there's the battle with Steve Park and Carl Pastriak a little farther back in car we've seen in a long, long time. He is trying everything in the proverbial modified driving book. And at the halfway point, he still has not been able to get it.
Chris Amon on the low groove, apparently with another mechanical problem.
Reggie and Stafford, they both wobble a little bit as they play bumper tag off the floor. They are about 5 car lengths ahead of Jan Leedy, who is having a terrific run with Mr. Auto Parts Chevrolet tonight. Leedy, of course, is a catbird seat just watching all of this, and I'm sure he's enjoying watching it as much as he is running right there with them.
Our leaders now coming on slower cars. Here comes our leader up on S.J. Ivanchin.
Let's see how they work with the traffic. Sometimes it works to their advantage, other times it most certainly does not. And Reggie, right to the bottom. Down underneath the panic, and right there is Ivanchin. They head down the backstretch into turn 3. And S.J. Ivanchin has nowhere to go, nor does the Reg. Stefanik with a brilliant heads-up move. Maintained his cool. Knew where he had to be and just stayed there. Pulls up alongside, works the traffic perfectly once again. Through turns 3 and 4.
George Brunholzel off the pace once again as they come to the line. Still Stefanik and the Reg.
Trail of smoke from the Brunholzel car. It looks like George will be calling it a night very, very quickly here. Meanwhile, the top 2 continue to do incredible open wheel battle on this half-mile racetrack.
Rick Fuller now running fourth is trying to break out of the pack, and he's got Tom Baldwin all over his back bumper. Here come our leaders one more time.
This is a race fan's delight. Reggie almost underneath the panic in turn 2. I was going to say this is a race. Reggie now up to the outside. Reggie deep into turn 3. He makes it look like a Sunday afternoon drive. Unbelievable. Reggie Ruggiero grabs the lead on lap 83. The Reg is now out in front.
And pulling away.
We're going to end up talking about that one for a while. Find out exactly what happened, because it seemed as though Reggie suddenly developed another 180 horsepower under the hood of that thing. And just went into the turn very, very deep. Problem seems now to be quite obvious.
And Leedy now running in second place, car 27. And meanwhile, a battle for fourth shaping up. Rick Fuller now being pressed by Tom Baldwin, the 77 and the 7 going at him. Tim Connolly slowly working his way out of the pack too, and maybe a challenger before long.
The guess, and I guess the money would have to be on a tire problem for Stefanik. He does seem to be a little bit loose. Mechanically, the car seems to be fine.
And Tom Baldwin dives under Rick Fuller and takes over to the...
Well, they certainly used them up. There's no question about that. The question remains, how much is left in them?
And how?
And it appears right now that those tires are in terrific shape. But they can go away just as quickly as Stefanik did. We have 60 laps remaining, 90 up on the score.
traffic. Gets under Tony Ferrari.
40 laps will be left to run when we cross the line this time. We will have 40 to go. Reggie now puts Bruce D'Alessandro down a lap. And Ruggiero almost gets up alongside of Ferrari in the 31.
And Baldwin continues his pursuit of second place, closing in bit by bit on Jan Leedy.
Leedy's car appears to be handling very well. It's amazing. He, of course, standard error tire. And, of course, Tom Baldwin right there on the Goodyear team.
And certainly the Reg has lost some of his lead, but it well may be that he's just taking it easy right now.
Well, it has non-stop lap traffic in front of him, and he has, as you mentioned, been taking it off very cautiously, very deliberately, but certainly with a great deal of caution in what he's doing out there.
Bruce D'Alessandro drops off the pace a bit, and both Tony Gravino and 31 of Ferrari overtake him.
Reggie's lap times have dropped off considerably as well. So the lap times of virtually everyone else. Car number 44.
Reg now with 34 laps to go as he crossed the line.
Busy night for Bill Leda, the chief starter for the Tour. As he has race cars all over the place.
Tim Connolly has closed in on Mike Stefanik now, and we may have a challenge coming up there.
During the last lap. Keep an eye on him this time off the turn. Smooth as silk, pretty as a picture. So one of two things, either that was just a one-time problem or he is simply compensating for the tires beginning to wear.
Leedy then Baldwin. Baldwin now seems to have slackened off the pace that he was setting before, not picking up ground on Jan Leedy.
Laps remain to be run. That's it.
And Tim Connolly got by Mike Stefanik and has taken over fourth place from Mighty Mike.
And now the 39 of Bruce D'Alessandro slows drastically on the front straightaway. He has been running off the pace considerably, but now is right down to almost a crawl with start-finish production. Chances are he will be headed into the pit area in the next few laps.
Jeff Fuller closing in. Reg does not want right now. He crosses the line. We've got 20 left. And Leedy still running second. Tom Baldwin still that same distance behind second place car.
If this is unfortunate figure, if you were a betting man, would you say we are going the remaining 19? Okay, that's just for chuckle. I'll go the other way.
Rick Fuller, all feeling the pressure, has overtaken him and now moving up through the pack. Riley slows quickly on the backstretch. Almost a problem there. Randy will pull into the pits. Something just seemed to break on that car, and in he comes.
Tony Ferrari, car number 31, the driver out of Frankfort, New York, into the pit area. So it is Reggie Ruggiero into turn 1, followed by the 27 of Jan Leedy, 7 of Tom Baldwin.
Crosses the line, there will be just 10 laps to go. Caution flies.
And this is it.
Well,
oh boy.
It looks like it. Lemke.
Tighten your seatbelts, folks. Because this is where it is going to get interesting. 10 laps remain to be run. By the time we get back underway, we will be well into the single digits. Rick Fuller comes in. Stefanik is in.
Jan Leedy pulls.
Leedy is in. So this is a very interesting scenario. And are they going to let him go? They do. Green flag is out. The red jumps back out in front. And keep an eye on the 44 of Stefanik.
And look at Jeff Fuller played past Tim Connolly and into third place.
He brings the 7th right along with him.
Uh-oh. Tommy Trevino appears to be on the spin as lap 146 now shown as complete. Folks, this race isn't over yet. In turn 4. Okay, our starter indicating to the field that this...
And hopefully we'll bring this one home. Peter Locke is in, and Reggie jumps on the throttle, as does Baldwin and Fuller. Green is out. Here they come. Top 3, nose to tail. We're headed for the finish. Off the second turn and down that long back straightaway. Reggie is able to open it up just a bit. Into turn 3. Reggie Ruggiero with 1 lap to go. One more time around. .151. That will be the final count in this one. As Reggie Ruggiero wheels car number 69, the Auto Palace TJ Toyota. He has crossed the line. Tom Baldwin finishes in the 2nd spot. 3rd is the 8th of Jeff Fuller. 4th is the 42 of Tim Connolly. And 5th, we believe, is going to be car number 4. Will be car number 77 for Rick Fuller.
All right, that's the unofficial picture. We hope before you get out of here, we will have an official rundown for you.
Fuller, the 77 of Rick Fuller, the 44 of Mike Stefanik, the 42 of Connolly, and for 6th, 7th would be the 4 Ruggiero. Let's go trackside. Tony Sutton is there to greet our winner. Tony, take it away.
Boy, you're talking about a crew that has got beads of sweat all over their forehead. We stood and watched these guys as they prepared for a tire change, and I could almost hear Reggie saying, "It still sticks. We don't need it." Congratulations. What an incredible ride. First off, you and Stefanik had a great battle going. I mean, you were all over the track.
Yeah, we were both racing for that halfway bonus that they have, lap 75. And Michael's tough. He knows how to run this track just as well as I do. And once we got going, he started slipping and sliding. And finally, he just waved me by in a backstretch because he was abusing his car And if it did go the whole distance, he would have been in really big trouble. And as you can see, we didn't get a caution until lap 140. And we ended up, you know, our car is just super on tires. I mean, we probably could have ran 200 laps today. It was a little bit loose, but I'll tell you what, those Goodyear tires, they hung in there today. We were in victory lane.
We watched your crew. We stood by and watched in the last as the caution, and you didn't come in, and they were all kind of huddled around. What were you telling them over the radio?
Nah, and I was on the bottom, right on the side of the pace car. I was going to fake them out. I was going to wait until the last minute and stay on the racetrack and let them go in. There was only 10 laps left, and here it goes 2-3 under caution. And luckily, we had another caution in between that. Only raced for like 4 laps out of the last 10. So that was our strategy today. Paid off. Have to thank Auto Palace in Sunoco, my car owner, TJ Toyota.
You did a great job. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tour champion, Reggie Ruggiero.